Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you're interested in today's video. On October 2, 2025, Michael Cook of the Hoover Institution published an article in the Financial Times titled, "The Geopolitical Risks of China's Basic Chip Capacity Expansion," arguing that China's basic chip production capacity has climbed to approximately 40% of the world's total and continues to expand. He called on the United States to strengthen its response to the existing Section 301 investigation and further refine related measures. This viewpoint was expressed just as the 2025 China International Semiconductor Fair, IC China, concluded. The event showcased a large number of domestically produced chips with mature process technologies and domestically produced equipment, highlighting China's latest progress in this field and sparking widespread industry discussion on the interaction between the Chinese and U.S. chip industries. Previously, the United States had repeatedly urged high-end equipment suppliers such as ASML of the Netherlands to restrict exports of high-precision lithography machines to China. As a result, domestic chip companies, facing difficulties in acquiring advanced process equipment, have gradually shifted their focus to mature processes of 28 nanometers and above, vigorously promoting capacity expansion. Since 2024, domestic semiconductor companies have shown an increasingly pronounced trend of investing in mature processes. Companies such as SMIC and Huawei Semiconductor have been expanding their mature process production lines. At an automotive chip factory in Wuxi, the packaging line operates 24/7. Real-time data from the workshop shows that the line can package 2,000 automotive-grade power management chips per hour. After rigorous testing, the products are shipped to downstream automakers. Similar production models are now common in chip industrial parks in the Yangtze River Delta and Pearl River Delta. By 2025, China's share of mature process chip production capacity will increase to 40% of the global total. According to the China Import and Export Statistics Report for January-August 2025, released by the General Administration of Customs on October 1, chip exports from January to August reached 905.18 billion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 23.3%. These data became a focus of industry discussion during the Semiconductor Expo. Faced with this trend, different opinions have emerged. In his article, Kukan pointed out that U.S. military equipment, such as F-16 fighter jets and Patriot missiles, relies on basic chip production. If China controls a major portion of global production capacity, the U.S. may have supply chain concerns. He suggested that the U.S. encourage companies to disclose chip supply chain information and increase investment in domestic chip manufacturing. On September 13, China's Ministry of Commerce responded by launching an anti-dumping investigation into some U.S. analog chips, stating that U.S. protectionist policies undermine the stability of the global chip industry chain. In a Bloomberg column in May, U.S. Commerce Secretary Raimondo admitted that restrictive measures alone would not be enough to halt China's semiconductor growth, and that the U.S. should focus on improving its own technological innovation. In an interview with Semiconductor Industry Observer, Cheng Shengyi, former CTO of TSMC, also mentioned that China has focused on mature processes and leveraged its scale advantages to develop a differentiated approach. The industry has recently been debating whether to build a solid foundation in mature processes or accelerate the pursuit of advanced processes, with many netizens offering their views. Which development strategy do you prefer? Increasing China's basic chip production capacity requires support from upstream and downstream sectors of the industry chain. As a major manufacturing nation, China consumes a vast amount of basic chips annually in sectors such as automobiles and home appliances. This is particularly true in the new energy vehicle market, where sales increased by 30% year-on-year in the first 8 months of this year. Each new energy vehicle requires a large number of power management and automotive-grade MCU chips. Rapidly expanding domestic production capacity perfectly meets market demand. Breakthroughs in domestic chip equipment are also crucial. According to the China Semiconductor Industry Development Report, first half of 2025, released by the China Semiconductor Industry Association, the domestic self-sufficiency rate for mature process equipment reached 35% in the first half of this year, a significant increase from 10.7% in 2022. SMIC's market share in 28nm etching equipment has exceeded 20%, and Nora's thin film deposition equipment has also been deployed on a large scale, significantly reducing reliance on overseas equipment. Do you believe that breakthroughs in core areas such as etching equipment will strengthen the foundation of China's chip industry more than simply expanding production capacity? Globally, nearly 60% of electronic products rely on mature process chips. If the supply chain is artificially fragmented, production costs for U.S. domestic companies will increase significantly. Relevant estimates indicate that without mature Chinese processed chips, the cost per unit of U.S. home appliance companies could increase by at least 20%. The core of the competition between China and the U.S. in the chip sector is no longer simply about who has the upper hand in capacity layout. China is currently promoting a development model of building a foundation with mature processes to pave the way for advanced packaging. During the exhibition, the industry consensus was on coordinated advancement of chip design, manufacturing, and equipment. Take Changdian Technology's chiplet technology, for example. By integrating two 14nm chips through advanced packaging, its performance approaches that of a 7nm process, while also reducing costs by 30% compared to traditional solutions. This represents a new path for Chinese chip companies, leveraging their strengths amidst the limited availability of advanced lithography equipment. In contrast, the US's concerns about China's expansion of basic chip production capacity ultimately revolve around balancing technological leadership with practical commercial interests. While the US wants to maintain its innovative edge, it's also reluctant to relinquish the cost advantages offered by China's production capacity, making strategic adjustments challenging. Basic chips have become a crucial pillar of the global digital industry chain. Faced with potential friction, how can the Chinese and US chip industries achieve win-win cooperation? What practical lessons will China's mature process breakthrough strategy accumulate for future high-end chip innovation? What are your thoughts? Join the discussion in the comments section.